Hey, how you doing? Bruce Major here with the Major Home Team and Realty One Group, and this is lunchtime with the Yankee Realtor. Today, I wanted to talk to you about renting versus buying. Now, a lot of people I've heard say that they don't want to get into a mortgage payment when they defend their right to rent. Well, believe it or not, you are getting into a mortgage payment. It's just that you're paying someone else's mortgage instead of your own. And on top of that mortgage payment, you're also paying a profit to the renter. So most often, buying can be cheaper in the long run if you play your cards right than renting. So I would always say to you, buy before you rent. If you have the ability to get the credit score, you can get you can get a loan product. Definitely buy before you rent. It is definitely cheaper. And in addition to that, if you can put 20% down or something like that on the home, it forces you to save. And if you do end up, saving up 20% for a home, and you have built-in equity, as soon as you put that money down, that money doesn't disappear. It is in the house. It's in the value of the home. You just, moving your money from cash to a home equity. And as you pay your mortgage payments, you're going to continue to build even more equity in your home, because the more you pay, the more you own, and the more equity that you have it. And in addition to that, when your home over time, it increases in value. So there are some times in history where the housing market crashed, but for the most part, homes appreciate over time in value over time. So you are building even more equity because the value of your home is going up. You're paying down what you owe, and the difference in between is equity, and that you're building in your home, which is awesome, And you'll have a tendency, it's not just about money all the time. Sometimes it's about other things too, like social issues. You end up having more of a stronger bond with the people that you would be living next to, your neighbors, because you all have the same interest in the value of your home. You're all bought together, and you're all living in the same area. And as opposed to renting, when most people are just temporary, they're not interested in getting to know anybody because, it's just turnover rate and everything. People don't really have a tendency to bond very deeply with in a rental community as opposed to a buying community. You're all in the same subdivision, or you're all in the same neighborhood or something. You all have the same interest that you're shared, and you all are vested in your property. And so you end up having a stronger bond with the people. And in addition to that, you also feel more secure when you buy a home as opposed to renting in, say, an apartment complex, because you got some space between you and other people, and you can install security systems if you need to, or what have you, whereas an apartment complex might limit what you can do inside of your home to keep yourself safe. And you own your own home, you always have a tendency to feel safer because you're in control. You're in control of who comes on your property. You're in control of what's your environment. You're far more in control of your environment when you own it. And it's also obvious thing is more private. You're not going to have somebody right on the other side of the wall, or above you, or below you, or next door. Your privacy is maintained because of the space that you have around you when you buy a home. And so it's a more private situation. So again, another advantage to buying over renting. Also, part of your mortgage payment is tax deductible. So hey, you can write off things like maintenance and repairs and things of that nature, in addition to the interest that you're paying on the loan. And that's a huge tax break. It opens the door because you're able to do deductions. You're opening the door to a whole host of other tax benefits. You can also create your dream house. So you are restricted to what the renter, or if you're in an apartment complex, will allow you to do to modify the home to the way you would like, to your liking. Whereas if you buy a home, you can make anything you want. You can you can paint it any color that you want. You can change the floors that you want. You can add things, take away things, make a hole in the wall, whatever you want to do. It's yours. So you can do whatever you want and turn it into your own dream home. You know, you're not limited or restricted by what a renter would impose on you, because he knows you're temporary, and this also has to sell to somebody else, or be rented, I should say, to someone else. And so he's limiting what you can do with that home. Also, should you have an emergency, unfortunate, or you need to come up with a significant amount of money in a hurry because of some sort of emergency that you have, well, you can take out a second mortgage on your property. You know you can afford it over time, so you take out the second mortgage, but you have that cash on hand that will be able to apply to whatever emergency that you might have. So you have a store of some emergency funds available to you. And over time, you decide that you want to move out and downsize, and you can actually don't need, if your credit's good and you can afford it, you don't need to sell that house. You can go ahead and rent that house. You can downsize into something else, and then you can go ahead and rent that house and collect some passive income, like the renter that would be collecting from you if you were to rent. Now you're the renter, and you can collect some passive income from that house. So it's another win for doing that. And overall you end up feeling better about yourself because you're accomplishing something that over a long period of time, every month, as you make those payments, you're accomplishing a goal. You're accomplishing a long-term goal and getting closer to being debt-free in a home. And that always feels good, because you're doing this accomplishment and you're bettering your financial situation as you continue. So, of course, you feel good, you're healthier. You always feel that way. You can have any pets that you want. Now, some places they restrict what pets you can have, if you can have pets at all, what size the pets are, what breeds the pets are. Hey, you own a home, you can have an alligator if you want, if it's legal. You can have anything you want. So pets, you can have any pet that you want so long as it's legal, and there's no restrictions. Okay, by a renter. You may or may not, if you have a political interest, might tend to be a little more politically active if you own a home, because you're a city councilman or something like that who affect the rules and the laws in the area that you live. You might want to have a voice and you might want to participate in that. So you may become more politically active. And last but not least, certainly not least, is that you'll have something to pass on to your children. As you continue to pay down on this mortgage and you have a home that your children have grown up in, and they've set in roots in that area, in that school system, and their friends, and they've grown up there, and that's what they'll always call home. And should the day come that you should pass, you have something to pass on to your children, and that's a huge advantage. Where with renting, you won't get anything like that. So those are just some of the arguments of buying versus renting, and I hope I was clear. I hope you got some value out of what I've told you, and I hope you enjoyed watching. Please hit the like button, or wherever it is. I don't know. Hit that like button, share it, make some comments. Don't forget to check me out on YouTube, The Yankee Realtor, Facebook, Major Home Team, and look for me at my website, Major Home Team. And thank you very, very much for listening, and God bless you, and God bless America.